This is a monorail train station in Planet Zoo, and it took me 14 hours to make. In this video, we are building a unique habitat for the YouTube Community Zoo, because it's not just a classic train station with 2 restaurants, multiple shops, all the staff facilities, exhibits and more, but it's also the home to the red foxes, as suggested by Leonard Goncalves 8408. Your long name is added to the contributors list. Thank you. In this video, I'll start by making the fox habitat first. Once that is done, we'll get into building the train station. You can look at the timeline on the video to see when that is. Please let me know what animal you would like to see added to the zoo next. This station is the start of a European or North American section of the zoo, but anything works. Also, you can download this map and build your zoo with the train station yourself. Link to the workshop is in the description. Alright, let's get into it. Obviously, this habitat is a bit unusual, and the biggest challenge is that we have limited space, only 464 square meters. Fortunately, the red fox doesn't need much space, which makes this the perfect animal for a European-themed train station. We can fit about 5 to 6 foxes in this habitat, so that's ideal for now. Let's go ahead and buy them and see if they can escape, which is one of my biggest concerns since the walls aren't very high. They have arrived. Welcome to our train station, little guys. They look really cute, I must say. Let's check their NavMash pathfinding system to see where they can walk. And it appears to be safe. I didn't expect that. I thought they might somehow jump over the edge, but everything seems fine. Next, I worked on the actual terrain. I felt like having a default flat terrain wasn't good enough, especially since these foxes need some sort of burrow. I noticed they have an underground burrow as an enrichment item, which is perfect. However, my initial attempt to incorporate it into the side of the hill didn't work as intended. It unfortunately automatically creates a flat space around the burrow. Luckily, I found a workaround using rocks. I selected rocks that match the dirt texture, the tropical rocks, and build around the entrance to their cave. I think it looks pretty good. I haven't used this system of setting up a cave entrance before, but I think I'll use it in the future. It looks much better than just having the burrow sticking out of the ground by default, and the rocks still allowed to function properly. I'll definitely use this technique going forward. Checking the nav mesh again, and they still have enough space and they can walk on top of the rocks. I was curious if they could enter the burrow, but later in the video I see them moving in and relaxing down there. So everything seems fine. And the habitat is large enough, which is great. Placing trees in an indoor environment can be tricky. I want to give this habitat a pine forest vibe, but I was limited to how tall the trees could be. So I didn't place many trees, just a few to represent the biome. And then I moved on to bushes, grasses and other elements to help sell the effect. I did find a smaller tree that helped blend things in, giving a sense of a growing forest with some saplings. To give the forest a more rugged feel in this otherwise perfect environment, I added a falling tree laying over their burrow. It started to look really good. Next, I worked on placing a bunch of bushes to create a forest environment. I didn't add too much more and moved straight to grasses. This habitat needs a lot of low, unobstructing space since we don't have much room left. Any major bushes or rocks where the animals can't walk through should be avoided. Using grasses for now seems fine. Placing grasses, however, was a bit trickier because of the difference in terrain height, so I had to adjust the grass placement accordingly, but it's all good. I've also placed some rocks to outline the height difference, making it look more like a mini cliff edge rather than just a pile of dirt. It looked pretty good, though there wasn't much thought behind it. I just placed it. Finally, I added some short grass texture to the ground the foxes needed to meet their environment requirements. By this point, the habitat was nearly done. I know it's a small habitat, so it's not very complicated. I did add some additional rocks for detailing, which always helps make the habitat feel more realistic. Lastly, I used my trick of flipping a tree stump, duplicating it and placing it between the rocks to add more detail. The branches sticking out between the rocks makes it look really good, in my opinion. I'm happy I discovered this trick to enhance the environment. And that's it, we're pretty much done at this point. After that, I just placed some enrichment items to keep the foxes happy. Now, next up, I'll show you how to build the entire train station. I fast forwarded through the process since it took around 14 hours of straight playing Planet Zoo last week. I usually don't build much architecture, and this was my first attempt at something like this, so it was a bit of a gamble. However, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'd love to do more builds like this, but because they take so much time, I can only present them fast forwarded. Otherwise, the videos would be too long, and this one is already quite lengthy. So I'm curious to see what you guys think, if you guys like it or if you'd prefer the shorter videos in the future. For now, just relax, enjoy, grab a cup of tea, maybe play some chess on your phone or something, and watch this in the background with some nice lo-fi music. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Please let me know in the comments what animal you would like to see added to the community zoo next. This is still very much a community project. So far we've added the red fox, the red crowned crane, the Asian small-clawed otter, and the red river hog. A lot of red animals apparently. There's still so many animals that we can include. I'd love to add some of the new DLC when it releases, but we have a few episodes before then, so please let me know in the comments and I'll see you guys later. It's always advised to build on a grid, especially with large-scale buildings like these, so the base of your building is incredibly important. When I placed the monorail station, the first thing I did was make the path area for the guests to walk on, all on the same grid. The walls are also very important. If you're building a large structure, you don't want to start with the walls too soon, because it will be very annoying to do everything on the inside with the walls blocking your vision. But in my case, I needed to block out where and how big the building should be, but I try to avoid outside work as much as possible. Next, I left a square of dirt open for the habitat. I first measured the square to see how much space the habitat would have, and because it was quite big, I decided to make it a circle, which left us with about 500 square meters of space. Halfway through, I knew I wanted to add a second floor to the building, so I went to raise the floor and build a layer for the balcony and 2 fancy restaurants. This building was very detailed, but to make the process a little bit easier on myself, I copied a lot of the walls. It just speeds up the process a bit, and as long as one of the items you've selected is on the grid system, you can pretty much easily control the placement. With the second floor also came the opportunity to create a balcony area where the guests can sit outside and enjoy a sunrise over the community zoo. Similar as inside, working on the outside walls was made easier by just copying sections and adjusting them later. I try to, in everything that I make, to make it as time efficient as possible. I just hate repetitive work. It was time to work on a tower. I had no idea how to go about this. I also didn't use any reference, so I just thought I'll wing it. You might notice I skip here. I've actually forgot to press record, so the entrance and how I built the entrance is unfortunately not in this video. I'm sorry about that. Working on a little balcony here, I just imagined myself sitting down, drinking a beer while the sun sets. Looks cozy. In most of the set pieces I've incorporated lights, but you haven't really seen them glow. Here I add some more to the outside, and I just love how it looks. It truly lights up the building and it makes it so much more immersive. I also decided to place a grid of beams on the inside with lights hanging down. This just illuminated the monorail. It isn't really beautiful, it doesn't really enhance the building, but it is functional and it looks better at night. If you made it this far and you're still watching, then please comment the rhino emoji. I'd love to see who my legendary viewers are. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.